Talking about the music today, hanging out right here with gospel legend and one of the pioneers of gospel, Mr. Harvey Watkins Jr. of the Canton Spirituals.
Hey, Danny, what's going on?
Man, I'm hanging in there. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man.
You looking good, man.
I'm doing pretty good.
Look, now
Yeah,
just let me tell you a little bit about what we do here. My friend Marcus Walton and I, we travel around the country and we talk to different types of entertainers, politicians, and just a lot of different people about the music, rappers, country singers, and you have been one of the guys that if God is blessed to be doing what you've doing for a long time and making a living at it in the form of traditional gospel music,
Right.
which at one time was one of the musics that the music industry kind of wanted to count out.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's kind of like on the uprise and coming back through radio and TV and the whole nine. And you're one of the front runners. So just kind of share with the people a little bit about you and your music ministry and the group, and just kind of like what it is to be doing this for a long time.
Well, the Canton Spiritual was organized in the '40s by my father and my uncle, and I
Now
joined
that was Harvey Senior.
Harvey Senior. Yeah, I joined the group in 1973, and I've been here ever since. And when I first joined the group was singing, in small churches and mostly paying to sing. And
Wait a minute, hold on now. So now you mean back in the day, instead of people inviting you to come sing and blessing you with whatever, a gift or whatever, you guys had to actually pay people to be on concerts?
many times back in the day, we would go to group's anniversary, and they had a little thing that they called represent. So therefore, you had to leave them some money
In order to sing.
in order to sing. Amen. And we was a new breed. So when I say we, I'm talking about me.
Right, right.
We definitely hurried and put a stop to that.
Right.
And the Lord did the rest. I mean, we can't do this for a living unless it's our calling.
Right.
What I'm saying is, see, if God didn't finance it, He's not going to pay for it. So we have to make sure that we're in our calling, and it wasn't because we were so good. Still not. It's not because we were such great singers, but we was in our calling. God called us to do this,
Right.
and this is why He blessed us. It wasn't the marketing. It wasn't the promotion. It was God. It was Jesus Christ that blessed us and kept us. That's why we've been here so long. No way we could do it alone. We
Right.
can do it. We can do it by ourselves. We don't even have the sense. But we just thank God for giving us the sense to stir our gifts, and when we stir our gifts, then He do the rest.
Now, you actually recorded your first uh, hit record in 1979. That was a big regional hit
Yes, sir.
for you with
Yes, sir. James Bennett.
James Bennett with J&B Records.
I'm coming, Lord.
Right, and
Yes,
then
sir.
since then you went on to the Blackberry label, which
Right.
is kind of where you
That's
got your
when
push.
we got national exposure.
Right.
But our group was already making noise.
Right,
But we got national exposure because we got a video and a CD, and we got some marketing
right,
and some promotion.
right.
And that's the way the Lord do it. I mean, we can't do it. I mean, there are a lot of record companies and there are a lot of groups that go against the grind trying to take their group to the top. But we can't. Taking your group to the top is just like falling in love. You don't fall in love. You learn to love.
Right.
You learn. When I've been married 33
Not
years.
an overnight thing.
Oh no, you ain't fall. I fell in love. No, you didn't. You didn't fall in love. You learn to love.
Right.
And God get us ready for different things. And He got the Canton Spirituals ready because when we were singing at our best, we was at home.
Right. You mean as far as the best, as far
Yes,
as
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
production
Yeah.
and
When we
the
was
talent that you
when
had?
we would see, we was younger.
Right.
When we was young and could sing all day long and sing pretty all day long, we was at home.
Right.
So the Lord wasn't ready for us to move. Well, He might have been ready, but He knew we wasn't ready.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I definitely
Big
wasn't
difference.
ready. No doubt. But I love gospel music, and not only do I love gospel music, I love music.
Right.
I love good music. It don't matter who it is. It can be Prince or anybody. If it's good
Right.
music, I'm listening.
Well, I found in my travels that a lot of those guys, the guys that, and I don't call it secular music because a lot of those musicians and people that do that for a living are very spiritual, and
Exactly.
they attend church, they pay
Exactly.
tithes. So,
Exactly.
and I don't just call that music secular music
Exactly.
because secular means without God,
Exactly.
and a lot of those people are very spiritual and have
Exactly.
attend churches. But I find that a lot of those guys know you and know of your music. If you say they ask me where I come from. First of all, you say you're from Mississippi or
Yes, sir.
Tennessee, you probably the only guy in the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
and they automatically know that you come from the church.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, who do you know? And I say the Canton Spirit. Oh yeah, man, I love them. Or the Mighty Clouds, the Canton's Mighty Clouds. They know you guys. Now you have been one of the few groups, other than the Mighty Clouds, and of course, that have had the experience of doing what you do internationally and
Yes, sir.
experiencing the movement of traditional gospel music in Europe. How was that when you guys went to
Well,
Europe?
it was awesome. Blew me away because I was just hung up on, I'm from the country. I was just hung up on these people ain't gonna know what we saying.
Right.
What are we gonna do? But when we got over there, man, we found out that those people love music. Even if they don't know what you're saying,
Right.
they hear the music, they hear the harmony, and they have a fit.
Right.
Hey, man, and I enjoyed it. I love to go over there.
So you guys went to like
Not Iraq now.
don't want. That's a wrap. No Iraq. Kuwait, none of that.
Yeah, no.
We ain't in that big a hurry.
No,
Say.
no.
But you guys, you toured in England and Italy and Amsterdam,
Yeah,
Holland, a lot of places. Yeah.
Belgium, a couple more Switzerland. It was beautiful. We had a ball,
Right.
and then we were well accepted, and we were treated like kings every day.
Right.
Now you can easily get spoiled over there now.
Yeah.
Oh man, they treat you real like when you a guest over there. It means just what it says. You a guest. That's
You
what they
guess.
treat you. We had a
They
ball.
roll it out. Yeah.
We had a ball, man.
Now you have been one of the artists that has been on Verity Records for a long number of years. You've had an extended stay there
I think since '96. I think.
since 1996. So that's been what, almost 15 years
Yes,
or better,
sir.
On the same record label.
Yes, sir.
And then in today's industry, that's kind of unheard of.
Yeah.
With the way that the record industry has changed and radio and the whole nine.
Yeah.
So are you getting ready to record again?
Yes, sir. We're gonna record the first of next year, the early part of next year. We're gonna record. We're gonna do a live record. We don't know where we're gonna do it at, but we don't know yet. But we know it's gonna be live because they demanded it.
Yeah. Now you're one of the guys because you actually kind of started that whole live movement for the quartet industry. I
Well,
mean, I know the Williams brothers.
Yeah, we
were
didn't
doing
start
it,
it, but we started. We started the. I would guess we opened up. Well, we started. Well, we was the first sellers.
right.
Yeah, our project was it sold more than the groups before us that had been doing them.
Right.
But so I could say I would say we put attention on the live recordings. I'll say it like that, I guess.
Okay. Now your songs have obviously been an influence to people all around the world, and especially in this country. I heard a lot of people say, songs like "Remember Me," "I'm Coming, Lord," "Come from a Poor Family," "Fix It, Jesus." Just in a whole list of other songs. When you hear people come up to you that have been inspired by your music, how does that make you feel as an artist?
Well, it makes me feel real good. I hear it all the time. Last night Saturday night we was in Walterboro, South Carolina, and a young man.
Now, don't ask me where that is.
I tell you what, it's over. It's over. It's close to the Georgia line. It's it's between Lake City and Savannah, Georgia.
Well, see that's the thing about you guys. You guys are probably the only artists that have the opportunity to travel to these type of towns
Exactly.
and be able to perform, because a lot of the bigger artists don't get a chance to go there, or maybe probably don't even know a lot of these places
Now,
exist.
what you just said is the reason why we should all speak positive things on each other's ministry. Because, see, like you said, the big artists don't go there.
Right.
Okay, but we do.
Right.
Okay, so we got a chance to, just like a young man that had been in prison 3 years, came to the program Saturday night. He came to me crying, tall guy, big, tall young man. said that my songs brought him through
While he was in
while
prison.
he was in prison. And I told him, I said, son, I said, are you going back? He said, no. I said, well, let me say this to you. I said, hold your head up. I said, because the only reason I ain't been, I didn't get caught.
Right. Right.
And so we all have done something wrong.
Which is the
We-
difference
we-
between
we-
most of us,
we've
just
all-
getting caught.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've all done some wrong things. So we sung, and he was inspired, man, and then he inspired me. And so stuff like that make me feel good, man. And my daddy was the owner of this group and the father of this group and the spiritual advisor and leader. And it makes me feel good when people come up and ask me about him. They still remember him.
Yeah.
I like all that stuff. Make me feel good, you know.
Right.
Just glad to still be around. I'm 54, be 55 in November. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
No, can't do things like I used to, but
You're
can
still
do
doing
all
it.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, look, now you guys still toured well over 160 days a year.
Yeah.
And you still going. You still got a lot of the juice on you. Just share some encouragement with a lot of the younger cats, because in this industry we bump into guys, rappers, and quartet singers, guys trying to start, and they just, a lot of them really don't have a clue about what this is really all about. So just kind of enlighten them and give the guys something to encourage them.
Well, I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to try to make it short because it's a lot I could say because it's a serious. First of all, if you want to be an entertainer, you need to study the entertainment business. You need to know who's successful, who's not. You need to know about them. What did they do? What kind of work did they do? Then you got to know that this is your calling. You know, you
Got to be blessed by God.
You got to know this is your calling, and you can't. Then you got to be you. If your name is Charlie, then don't act like Thomas. Act like Charlie. Sing like Charlie. Don't try to sing like Jimmy, because that way you won't find out what the Lord have for Charlie.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, know that this your calling. Be yourself. Put God first, and try to go to church and learn about Jesus' character, which is the fruits of the Spirit. Learn how. Don't make the mistakes we did when we first came out. How we didn't know this. Didn't nobody tell us. We didn't know. We just thought we just supposed to go out there and sing. But it's much more than that. You got to have on the armor of God. You got singing gospel business. You got to have patience. All of it in the fruits of the Spirit. You got to have long suffering. You got to have love, joy.
Biggest thing, you got to get in church.
You got
and
to
get
have.
Christ in here.
You got to have it.
Got to get in here.
You know, you got to have these things, and you got when the Lord get ready to bless you. Okay, if somebody just say something to you, you ready to fight, and you a gospel singer, you finna make him an open shame. He don't like that. So first of all, we got to learn how to be Christians if we're gonna sing gospel music.
Right.
This is the bottom line.
Right.
For real, we got to have what we're supposed to have in here, not just a voice. A keyboard can play, but somebody got to play it.
Right.
It can sing, but somebody still got to play it. So we are more than a keyboard. We're servants. We're servants to people. Heaven don't get excited over entertainers because the gifts come from heaven. Heaven get excited over servants. Servants is people that's serving people and helping people. This is how you be blessed. Not because you can make one. Anybody can do that. Trust me.
Yeah.
People that paid to get in can do that better than you.
Right.
Trust
There's a
me.
lot of people out there.
Trust
that
me.
can
You
do
got to
it.
sing from your heart and your soul and try to reach some people and turn them around.
Right.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Right. Well, look, now, real quick, and I'm going to let you go. You have written and produced songs for a lot of other artists. You've had an opportunity to work with Ruben Studdard.
Yeah.
And also just a lot of artists with a big name. So when you do that, when you write, you produce, and you get a chance to work with those other artists, and it's not necessarily the same thing that you do, what inspires you to be able to write and produce for other people and kind of give them what they need?
Well, if you're a producer, if you've studied your craft, that means you already know what these artists sing like. You already know their range. You know what they do. So this is what makes you good. That's why I said study your craft.
Right.
If you're a producer, if you're a songwriter, if you know Harvey likes slow songs, then you got a nice slow song for Harvey.
Right.
If you know Ruben Studdard is a ballad man, then you don't give him a drive. You give him a ballad.
Right.
This is to me now. This is just my opinion.
Right.
This is not in the Bible. Hallelujah. This is my opinion. I believe if you know these people, you can produce them. This is my opinion. I don't believe that. I could be wrong with this, but I'm going to put this out there. I don't believe that John Blow can produce the canned spirituals if you've never heard them.
There's no way.
I
No
just
way
don't
possible.
believe it. I believe he got to know what our style, what is our feel, what is our range, what is our lows.
Right.
Then I believe, then he like what we do too.
Right.
That's what I believe make a good producer.
Right.
That's what I think.
Well, look, Harvey, thank you, man, for taking time out, talking about the music here today with gospel legend and pioneer Harvey Watkins Jr. of the Canton Spirituals. Y'all keep watching us.
God bless you.